Okay. Okay, so are you ready for the task? This task I asked to Sandra with Dora. We did it already during the session. So because Dora jumped into Friday's session, and it was a little bit different. But no worries, because I will ask Dora to share with you her final conclusions or whatever.
Okay.
So Dora, what I asked them is, by the way, Alex is switching, so she's not coming today. She will switch into another day. So she already wrote me now, just to let you know. Okay, so Dora, I will ask you to summarize a little bit your work with the Kafka text, to share it with Sandra. But then let's listen to Sandra first. I asked about the mood and about the match. That right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So.
Yes. So you ask for a mood and then choose one image from the text that somehow represent the whole text. And since I really like to work with this kind of let's say writers and philosophers, let's say Kafka, Camus, Sartre are very well known to me, and I'm really negotiating all the time in my work with existential phenomenology and all this kind of life philosophies. And regarding the mood, I read it, let's say, 5 times on the tram, and I could really had that picture of that kind of existential mood, being seen, about identity, who we are, and about feeling in the world, society, mental alignment, self-awareness, vulnerability, self-human question. Am I not simply the object of attention when I'm seen? So this is about observation. And I would say that this first image, which represent the whole text, is actually standing on the tram platform and observing people, observing that woman, even if we go a little bit deeper, position in our world, position where we are standing now. He does not approach her, but actually he's thinking about this woman. The woman is kind of mysterious, and the woman is wordless, and she prepares to depart. And it's about temporality, transience, complicating. Even we can, because I read about Kafka before during my studies. He had some complicated relationship with a woman, so this could be also kind of a very nice image from this short story on the tram. It's about also about our and his relationship to woman, but also about our morality and an installation. How I saw the whole picture and the mood. It's about abstract composition, and the color I would see it's more or less gray, muted, black form. Yes, of course, Kafka also on the tram describes this woman in detail from feministic, I would say from feministic point of view. The woman is not aware of herself, and this is something quite interesting. She's just standing and he's just watching her, and she's not even interested in what is happening around. Yeah, that is something what I wrote last time, but yeah.
Oh, okay, and then to have a clear picture. So in one or two words, how would you define the mood? But the mood, it's important for the practice. The mood that the text left you once reading it. Do you understand?
The mood, I didn't hear that part.
The text produces in you once you were reading it, the text. Not, for example, the mood that, how can I say this? So that, because sometimes we can see the intentions of the writer, right? And then we said, okay, the Kafka here, they had the intention of produce this mood. This is something a little bit different for me now. So I am more interested in a subjective way that you experience as a reader while reading the text. Do you understand what I mean, Sandra?
Well, I think so. Yeah. I mean,
now it's interesting that, for example, I mean, of course, you read the text many times, and this adds another question about what I mean when we jump into know deeper or better, then it's never the same impression that we had at the first reading. I always give a lot of importance to the first reading. Even there is people who already knows that they are going to work with a text and do something for the stage and blah blah, and they have the pencil or the notebook ready for taking notes from the first reading of the text. This is somehow killing or hiding spontaneity in you. So the moods, the feelings, the images, even the ideas that a text produces in you the first time you read it, this is gold. This is gold. So you should face the first reading of a text as clean, as open-minded, as virgin of prejudices as possible, and let the text produce an effect in you. Then after that they can the analysis, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth reading, of course. But when you are using or you are planning to use a text for the stage, for a piece, for a production, you will face the fact of three-step communication, let's say. One, with your team. The other with your team, the performers. The other part of the team, not the performers, the other people who is going to help you in achieving the target. So meaning dramaturg, meaning music, meaning scenography, costumes, whatever. And then the final step is the audience. So when we face what we are going to do with the text, remember when we say this decision that puts in between narrativity and abstraction, right? So the closest to narrativity might be when they say that we are loyal to the text and we are putting the text as much as the Kafka intention was, blah, blah, or whatever. that we call it adaptation. Or just if we are using the text as an inspiration to our work, then we are closest to abstraction. So meaning that in the first scenario, theoretically, people can recognize the source when they see the piece. They know that you are working on the Tram by Kafka, and on the second scenario, they will not. So you must tell them this piece was inspired on the Tram by Franz Kafka. So, Sandra, can you come back to the first reading, the first time you read it, and tell us the mood it was on you after reading it?
Mm-hmm. Well,
or you are already far from that, maybe.
I don't know. My mood was, it's raining. It's heavy day during the reading, and everything was muted, and that was my first image on the tram. Nothing very cheerful, and well, maybe because I knew Kafka's work, so maybe I'm not. I don't look with judgmental eye. I just know the mood of Kafka's work. So it's always.
I should take out the name. Just send you the text, and then afterwards saying, "Oh, you know what? It's by Kafka," because this is a kind, this is interesting as well to remark that it's our work is always connected with fight.
With what?
Let's say fighting against cultural prejudices, let's say. And this is something that everybody, so nobody is free of that. So, I mean, and it's sometimes it's something really, really hard. Because Kafka, when I say Kafka, something comes to your mind, no? Depressive, philosophical, but it's not always like that. So
it doesn't have to be. I mean, it's a normal, usual rainy day, and I could put myself in that. When I was waiting for the tram or the bus, I always observing people, or maybe. Sometimes I'm not aware of myself a lot. Maybe I realize that somebody else is looking at me from the tram or from the bus. So it's just nothing judgmental. Just I enjoy the text, but I had that rainy and muted picture, how I'm standing also under the umbrella and I'm observing.
It's clear. I think it's clear. So let me ask you something. Would you use it for create a piece in your if you can say? I mean, this is a workshop practice, exercise that I've chosen the text and send it to you. But now I am asking. Would you use it or not, or is out of your I don't know, sphere of interest? Or
this text? I would use it. I already have some picture about it. Even for this our imaginative piece, you know, to maybe work under the rain. That would be, yeah, funny. And I mean, not funny, fun. And maybe use some words. I don't know which one, but I need to.
Exactly. So let's
On the end of
let's move on. I would ask Dora now to share her practice, but before let me say something that it's interesting as well when we are dealing with the original source, like you know, the inspirational material, which is so when I was asking to you to recognize a mood from the first reading, right? So we should take account that these people, we call them brainy people, that their approach to the text is not emotional or even psychological at all. Not even philosophical, as you said. For example, you made a brief description on phenomenology, phenomenology, and then connected with existentialism. So, an intellectual approach, looking for other kind of things, like, for example, an idea. Let's do this as a practice, and then Dora can say your opinion as well. So if we approach on the tram looking for one idea, now it's not about a mood or an image, an idea. So let's imagine that the writer, because this is something polemic and so on, that the writer wrote this short text to defend or to communicate one idea. What would it be, from your point of view, the idea? Or there is no idea in the text. I mean, do you have a theory, Dora?
I would say that I don't know, but for me, there is something, and when I think of the text as this, as you propose it now, the idea of observing or looking, maybe. How can you look at
let's say that an idea, you express it with a sentence, and so with a verb and a predicate, like, for example, saying life is absurd. This is an idea. So then, how would you express this observation thing? Because yes, this is connected with that. Sandra, do you have any?
Depending on the rain is absurd.
It's theory. you know, in this, there is polemic. So even in the most, let's say, clear texts of literature, story, of drama story, there is a fight. So there is a discussion about what the writer wanted to say or what the writer. So it's always you read something and then I would say that an idea is not always coming on the first reading. So this is different than the mood or the images or whatever. So it's sometimes you need to read the text many times to try to understand or to start seeing the idea. So the concept, the conception, the message, let's say. And your approach is not emotional. So it's, let's say, intellectual. And then you have your own conclusions. So this is what I say. What's Sandra? Your theory about what On the Tram wants to say. Do you have any?
Well, I would say, I mean, standing on the rain is absurd idea. It's absurd if I have to go somewhere on the job, but it's from somatic point of view, it's great, you know, to see the rain from other point of view. But if you have to stay like Kafka on the tram, I mean, in this small, I mean, short story, then, I mean, everything is absurd, to standing and to observing and to be observed. And if somebody approaching to you, everything can be so meaningless or meaningful. I mean,
so for example, we could say, from what you are saying, that routine is killing life. Would you agree this, or?
I like routine. I mean, we need routine to survive, but we need to.
Yeah. But now in Kafka's text, so you.
In Kafka,
when you reach this idea.
Yeah.
You can agree or disagree or put it in value and give it different colors and whatever. But what's in Kafka's mind when he was writing this short text? Kafka on the Tram. I like this is a very good title. Kafka on the Tram. Okay, so any was I close to your proposal, Sandra?
Which one? This idea?
Routine can kill life, for example. Would you agree this or not at all?
Well, I don't know if I understand that. But, so what I need to look for an idea for the tram or for my
yes, the idea. Well, I mean, we express it in a very pedagogical way. Huh?
So idea can be also living in a routine, in a habitual environment.
So the idea would be what the writer, in this case Kafka, had in mind, and he wrote this text to express one idea. For example, I will be very simple now. Huh? So, for example, when Shakespeare wrote one theory, you might agree or disagree with this theory, is that he wrote Othello to tell people that jealousy is very bad for a relationship.
Okay. Okay.
Sounds very very pedagogical, but this is how everything starts, no? Because it's important in dramaturgy. You know already that it can be something very complicated, something very delicate, something very full of vectors and different faces and different points of view and whatever. So my advice is always to start facing each question, even from the main question to the little question in dramaturgy, to start facing it as much simple as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so because this helps you to see clear and to be consequent with the main idea. And then when you start developing it, that you jump into a jungle, like when you jump into a jungle of things, then it helps you to avoid getting lost. Because in a dramaturgical process, it's very easy to get lost. So this is what I mean. Is my maybe other people do it in a different way, but my way to start something is from a seed, and a seed for me is something very 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 basic. Very, for example, this imagine that somebody asks you, please, can you prepare something about Othello, Shakespeare? Then okay, Othello could be faced in a different angles. Othello is not only talking about jealousy. So Othello, for example, you can. This is the cliche, but you can think about Othello, for example, like a fight because of power, for a fight for the power, and then jealousy and the love story between Othello and Desdemona goes into a second or a third place, but then you can imagine how different would be the dramaturgia of the production if you start from the idea that jealousy is very bad for a relationship, or you start from the fight for power has no mercy. These two different concepts will give you, I would say, not completely, but strongly different dramaturgia on Othello. And then that's why you can see two different versions of Othello on the stage. And who says 2 says 10 or 20. If not, then Othello would be performed always the same. This is what we say an idea. So, for example, if Alex, Sandra, and Dora, you finally will make real this solo performance from On the Tram of Kafka, it will be 3 different works, because each one of you started from a different idea. So Dora was suggesting something about this observing and being observed, for example. And you, Sandra, were putting more the focus in this routine feeling, let's say, right? That if you, I like when you say, if the routine when you are going to work is sad, let's say, But the routine, when if this is a free weekend and I can do what I want, is something happy. Am I right? Or because would you define it this way? By the way, Dora needs a verb. So what happened with this? Why is, let's say, or so it's about observing and being observed. But then what's the idea?
I would say, based on text, the idea of the text would be that, I don't know how to explain it, but you have to see what is happening. You have to, what is happening in the world or around you. You have to observe it very well. I think that would be, from the observing, what I was mentioning, observing, that would be idea of the text.
So, for example, we are witnesses observing what's going on in life. Do you like this?
Yes.
Because then, so this is the difference between the subject and the idea. So the subject, you can say it's about observing and being observed. This is the subject. Then you want to work about that. So you want to work about observing and being observed. But then an idea must have a verb, because an idea is the intellectual expression of one opinion or one way to understand some intellectual problem or whatever. So then we can say observing, being observed is the subject, and the idea of the writer is how we must observe, being witnesses of how life passes in front of our eyes. There is one sentence that I like and I hate at the same time, because it's very sharp. I don't remember now who said this, but it's about, say, life is what happens while we are doing plans. So then this means that we are always focused in our plans, activities, whatever, the future, the present, and then at the same time, life is passing by. Life is passing by. Yeah, I mean, This
can be also idea for on the tram, like you're standing there, you're like losing your time, you are observing, you are observed like some phenomenology of being seen, and life is happening, life is running.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's what I like. Kafka text, and I think they are good for the workshop because they are enough open that Dora has an idea and Sandra has a very different idea, and both of them are working because there is, the text is very suggestive. It's very suggestive. So and enough ambiguous that we can discuss for hours. What is it about? So that's why I think.
Yeah.
But then you take your position, meaning that that is connected when we still are in this intellectual approach. So meaning looking for the idea. It comes then the reason of why you are going to work with that. I mean, I don't know. So if you are a very So it depends on the ideology of the choreographer or the director. Then they would choose this and they wouldn't choose that. So I don't know, because the only thing that this is another question, but we are not going to jump into it because this is a hard thing. But if you do not agree what it looks like or what it says to you, the main concept of a play, the main concept of then don't choose it for working with it, because then what happens many times is that then you many directors and many scenographers twist it. One thing is that one text like this Kafka can produce different meanings and different concepts, and another different thing is that you force this text to say what you want to say. There's two different scenarios. So, for example, if I say I want to do a piece that talks about how pornography is influencing in the young people nowadays in internet, for example, and then I choose this text on the drum to talk about it. So, I mean, I can do that. So I could do it. I could do a dramaturgy, but then I mean, the text is not about that, and the text, and I would destroy the text. I will manipulate the text in a way that has nothing to do with the origin or with the main stuff and blah blah. And maybe I can find another text who is going to be better for to talk about what I want to talk about. Do you understand what I mean? No? So it's two different approaches. So then okay. So if you have this existentialism feeling and you said, okay, yes, the time passed by, life passed by, or how we are witnesses of life, but you don't want to talk about this, then maybe, or you want to use a Kafka text, but maybe you will check for another one. Kafka wrote a very, very interesting short, let's say stories, short texts. So maybe you can find one that is close to your sensibility, to your whatever. Okay, so then, and Sandra, so how could we express in one short sentences then from your point of view the idea of this text? Just for pedagogical purposes, huh? So I mean, to move on.
Okay, so I mean, this what Dora said was also correct. My routine, story about routine was also correct. It's like we are looking from different angle. And this, I mean, citation, quotation you told us is actually, it can be an idea of this short story. So, what could I say more? It's, yeah, we don't have to look on the tram negatively, and maybe existentialism is always not a very attractive philosophy, but we can we can have a picture of I don't know, Fred Astaire, and you know, he's dancing on the rain, and the same text, and everything is the same but different mood, and the whole story is totally different. And the whole performance is totally different, but we can have this existential part and we can have Fred Astaire and singing on the rain. and
I like that.
the same text. So
This is a contrast. I love contrast. Yes. You are right. Okay, so my point is, I am asking you this because we were checking how would be the way to communicate your team, your performers, the mood, and the visual, and work with the visual images that you had and they had. So, but then how could you imagine to communicate an idea to the team? And here I might include everybody, so performers and all the team. An idea. So because this is the most difficult thing in dramaturgy. Of course, that we are dealing with ideas, and some directors or some choreographers only with ideas. That's I would like to provoke or to inspire another way to approach the dramaturgy. So more emotional, more psychological, more visual. But the ideas are there. So I mean, this is nobody can escape from that. So do you have any suggestion or any idea? Because you can build a dramaturgy very clever from an idea. What would happen? What is the danger? What you will do that before starting the rehearsals, right? And then one day, the first rehearsal, what would you do? So let me know, how do you imagine this process?
Sorry, I don't know if I understand. What would be the first day of the rehearsal if we...
You have your dramaturgy based on an idea, which is that we are witnesses of life, for example. And then you must communicate this, no? You must share this with your team, with the performers and the other. Well, how would you introduce that? You would make them sitting all of them down in a table, and then you start talking about your idea and what do you want from the show, and all the decisions. Because if we come back to the first practice, if you start from the idea, you will start taking decisions from this idea, right? You will decide how many people, you will decide the space, the time, and other things. But then one day you will communicate this to your team, no? For example, the dance. Here it's a solo, right? It's a solo. So and you please refresh my mind. It was a male or a female that you choose?
I didn't define if it's a male.
You didn't decide.
When we were talking about what was the first image of the text and everything, I saw this woman very clearly. So yes, I would go in direction with the female dancer.
Yeah, no. I mean, let's say, no, that you are going to work with a female dancer, and then not only working from moods and images, but starting from the idea. How would you do you think? My questions are to make you think about. I have my answers. but of course, this is my way of understanding. No, but that I don't want to teach. I don't want to teach. So it's good if you take it out from your own conclusion. So how would you? And then Sandra, is it going to be a male or a female? Your performer.
Three.
No, now for the Kafka.
For the Kafka.
We switch into a different, and for the Kafka, I suggest you one solo.
Yeah, one male.
One male.
And one female.
Sorry?
Can be duo, like female and male.
Okay.
Okay, I can stand with one woman. Yeah.
Okay, a male couple, a male and a female. Okay. So now, the first rehearsal day. You've been working a lot. And do you have almost everything clear? But they don't know anything about your project.
Yeah.
I was I wrote how would I work on that was kind of our homework, let's say. So I was thinking about now I am not sure if that's the right direction, because there is this slippery part where me and the let's say dancer, performer, there is this slippery part that we are not on the same page, that we do not understand, because my idea was to start by reading the text together, by analyzing it, to talk about how do we see this woman, and yes, to talk and discuss about the text. But now I'm afraid that it might lead me into a different direction, or that the person I'm discussing the text with or talking about it can have a completely different view of it. So let's say this, if I really am super stubborn and I want to do it my way and there is no other way, so that means that this person is not cannot have a different opinion than mine, then I would start differently. I would need some time to think about it, but since I have this image of very calm atmosphere, there are things that you are observing. And I have this image of a woman that is super calm. She's very precise. Like Kafka was when he was describing this woman, I saw female like banker working. Like there is, how they are dressed. It's very polite. It's very simple, very structured. So if I want to go into that image and to have my dancer to have this in image, I would probably go with some exercises that are leading her into that state of mind or way of thinking, to get this calm atmosphere, to get from her body this posture. So I would go with the exercises and not with reading and talking about the text, which was my first plan.
Yeah, then all of us are stubborn, huh? So everybody is stubborn here, very stubborn. That's for sure. Sandra, what would you do?
Yeah, Dora has had a nice image of this how to communicate with the team. And with the dancers, and with all these mood and visual images. And I was thinking to start similar, like I would give, I know that dancers are not only physical persons, so I would give them that short story, and I would ask them, like you asked me now. So can you please highlight in the text for you what means this text for you, like a mood, like what is the first word or image you let's say observed, highlighted, or just let's say seen in the text, and what does it mean to you? What does it do to you? I mean, to your body, let's say, on mentally, somatically, physically, physical basis. So, and then if they don't understand anything of it, then we could do some maybe exercises, and we can make, let's say, practice with two of them. Of course, I don't know if I have many dancers. If I have only two of them, okay, if you didn't understand, we can start, you can sit, you can stand there, and the other one can stand there, and then just start observing what is happening while you observe the person and what is happening around you. And then we can maybe start some movements and realize what is happening in the text too. So, and then I will be back again and again to the text, and maybe I will choose, let's say, one word, which was also image for me. I stand on the end platform on the tram, and then we could, let's say, start talking about it. Tram, standing, observing, and then we will have one whole sentence. I'm standing on the end of the platform. I'm stand on the end of the platform. And then we can maybe start communicating between each other and start moving and start looking, but really observing, not just, I don't know, meandering around. Just look at the person and see what is happening while you look at the person, and what does it mean to be seen, because this part is really vulnerable, and you know, to being at
Oh, he got frozen. No. Oh. It always happens when in the most interesting moment, huh? Oh, yeah. Oh, welcome back.
I knew my internet is very bad, but that was what I wanted to say. Yeah.
That the being observed is crucial.
Yes, I mean, yeah. I mean, we don't have to start with the exercise immediately, but we can talk first. After, if they don't understand, if it's not very understandable text, then we can start thinking about what is your, what is your life experience while you're standing on the bus station or tram, and then something will come up with these things, and then we can make some exercises, physical exercises. But okay, first we need to read the text and then highlight, and then see what is happening with these sentences, and for whom each sentence or word has a meaning, because meaning is very important too, to find the meaning, like you wanted to find for us a mood and image, and not analyzing too much the text, just what is the first mood. And then, yes, we have a lot of work.
So would you would give them the text, everybody, so everybody in your case, to your couple, before starting the rehearsal.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes. I would
And
do
you,
that.
Dora, as well, no? If I understood properly. Okay, okay. Then Dora, I asked her to choose, because she wanted to look for a word or some in the text to work with. And did you already make a selection or choose something?
Well, last time we were talking, about the word tram, and I was thinking actually, how would I use I'm not sure if it would be a tram from text, but I stayed with the idea of the word tram for when I was thinking about it. And how would I use the word? Would it be said, written, or how would it be included in this solo? And I was thinking of, then I stayed with the word tram, and I was thinking to use it to voice it out, but to play with the word, to give, to play with the sounds of how this word can be said, or how can I, or the dancer, how can she manipulate the word, or that it doesn't make sense, maybe to play with the sounds of the word, so I don't know, maybe at the end the word would be the whole as the tram, because we were talking about this, the word is giving narrativity and is playing with the spectator's imagination, and it's picturing the whole. It can give a situation or mood or anything to the whole piece. So I was thinking to use the word, and maybe I didn't choose, but maybe different words from the text, but to play with their sounds and not with the meanings of the words, if that makes sense.
Okay, and Sandra, you have a similar approach, right? You were saying that you will choose some parts of the text as well.
Sorry, I'm talking to myself. So yes, I have an idea of one sentence, and this sentence is actually, well, for me, it's saying all about this situation, like standing, and while you're standing, you must being aware of how you're standing somehow. Of your physical alignment. And then while you're standing, you are actually wandering around. You must observing something and someone, even yourself. And I stand at the end of platform. That would be my whole sentence. And I would give them to my couple to explore a little bit with they don't have to, if they have problems with the pronunciation, they can only start with one word, like I or I stand.
Okay. Let's make our 15 minutes break, and I will ask you to look for words in the text that are connected with observing and being observed.
Okay.
So let's come back in 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Hi. Welcome back. So, one thing about how to communicate this idea to the performers. This is a very sensitive moment. It depends on how do you want them involved from the very, very early beginning? And how strong is your idea, your conception? Because you could sit them down, or sit them all down and give them the text, read the text together, or you could give the text 1 week before and then make a brainstorming with them to talk about what the text is saying, what do you want, how do you feel about it, what kind of images comes into your brain. And then this is a blah 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 session. So people in text-based theater, they call it table session. No? And you get a feedback from them, which might be always surprising. So you should be as much as open as possible. This is something that for some people is shocking, because you got the idea time ago, you start working with the text time ago, maybe for sure you work with the text more than them, and you reach a certain point, you start fixing in you some things that become somehow very clear for you and very basic for you. And then when you share this with other people, you realize that in this case, where the text is enough powerful or enough suggestive to make them see from completely different angles and different ideas. Some of them would support yours, some of them not at all. So if you are willing to work this way, so you are going to I mean, you must be as much as flexible and adaptive as possible, and fast, because then if not, let's say, let's go to another scenario. You avoid this table session, so you avoid this chat, and you start working with them with the aim of introduce them what is in your mind, what is in your intention, let's say. And then there is, I would say, a translation process between the idea and how you are going to work with the performers to help them transform this idea in movement. In my experience, this will never happen with a talk. So, and it doesn't mean that they are not intelligent. I mean, so you can invest 2 hours to explain them in words all what you thought, and they will understand that. But when you start the improvisation, you will realize that this is not really useful. Because it's not only about that an idea or a word or a sentence or an input. It can be, I mean, each one of them are going to make them theirs. And then this is the moment that when the mess starts going on. So what I would do is, it's part of your work alone before meeting them, how to translate all these things one by one in a physical way. So that's where, for example, Sandra called it exercise. No, and you said, you would create or invent concrete exercises for a concrete translation of the part of your main idea to make them involve from their body more than from their brain. I even would give them the text in the first moment. So it depends on the kind of performers, the kind of education, or even the kind of person they are. You could start a rehearsal 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 week to start working with them without them knowing the text. And then when you see the moment, because this is something that is not mathematic at all, but then you will realize a moment that you say, now is the moment I will give them the text. And then you use them. So, depending on how sharp has been the work, this let's call it approaching work, that helps them to build a bridge between the text and your dramaturgy, then the easiest and smoothest way, less traumatic, let's say, when they receive the text, when they get the text. And even I would say, because the feeling will be completely different, because when they will read the text, and the toughest part, which is the beginning, let's say, not always, but used to be the beginning, it's there already. It doesn't mean that I am against chats. Of course, I cannot be against chats, but chats not in the beginning. Chats when you advance, you progress in the work. For example, after 2 weeks, maybe, when all the physical basement and the body conception, the tonality of movement is already there, then yes, then it can be one moment, maybe after a rehearsal, that you go to a cafe or to have a beer or whatever, and you talk. Yeah, you talk, but not like a tool or a method, let's say, from the beginning, because it's that easy to get lost in words. It's very easy, and this could be. This could create different kind of issues. For example, to make you tremble or make you doubt about your dramaturgy, to make them feel that the concept of the piece is not clear enough for anybody, to open a very wide landscape that you say, oh my God, that somehow you will not be able to put all of them into your piece, because then there's going to be many different pieces in front of you, many different possibilities. Each possibility might be a piece, and then it's very easy to get lost in words. Words only help to confirm that you are doing a good job, let's say. So you can start from zero, let's say, with a team. In this case, it's a solo, or Sandra, it's a duo. So meaning that in Dora's proposal is 2 persons working together, and in Sandra is 3 persons working together, and then the communication is deeper. I mean, it's deeper in relation of time. So it's deeper, faster. Let's say that if you have a team of 10 performers or something like that. But it doesn't mean that it's easier, or it doesn't even it maybe to be deeper is to make it even much more complicated. Because all the philosophy, all the conception of life of this person that you are working with, she will have the chance to share it with you, and you will have the chance to share yours with her or him, and wow! Then this can become instead of rehearsals for creating a piece, it can become an intellectual brainstorming to write a book. If you know what I mean. So this is a way to introduce them the inspirational point of view text in a smooth way that includes them in your dramaturgy, because you will have already an idea about your dramaturgy. Do you have something to say about this, or a question or something?
So you are suggesting that first 2 weeks we discuss with them about ideas and some scores, let's say. Scores and ideas from the text. I know I already have read about it, and then I can give them that text, and then maybe after 2 weeks of rehearsing, and after we go to the coffee, we can talk about more about this text, and then maybe they will know what I wanted to say to them on the beginning, like say images of loneliness, of standing, of observation. And then, I want to show you, this is the text we will be working on. Is this much better?
Yes, but not discuss it, work with it.
Work with, okay.
So, your tools are the images, your tools are the words, your tools are all the parts in the text that suggest movement, for example. The tools are that you have already know what do you want to communicate, and then you must create these exercises. I don't think exercise is the best word, but we understand what we are saying. So
not like, for the biceps or something. I mean, exercises in this physical theater and performative.
I will give you an example. For example, for your dramaturgy, is important the fact of being viewed, being observed. For example, this is one aspect, important aspect of your dramaturgy. Okay, so think about improvisations, exercises, practices with your couple that face them in front of the fact of being observed. And then they will start discovering physically what does it mean being observed. Mm-hmm. Because intellectually, I mean, everybody can understand that, no? So if I tell you, look, you are going to work in the fact of being observed. You are being observed. Okay, everybody can, but we need to put this into their body.
Mhm.
And to telling them it's not enough at all is the moment that when they experience what does it mean physically to be observed, then is the moment that you can talk.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, this is very clear.
And start somehow feedback because of course here there is one gap somehow that if you are a dancer, if you are a mover, if you are a let's say performer, so why don't you try as well? So this is a schizophrenic thing, you know,
Uh-huh.
because you are now the choreographer, so the let's say the director choreographer of the piece, no, and then you start taking things, provoking things in your dancers, but then it might be if there is not enough practice, it might be a gap between your way of understanding and the way that you see them giving body and physical information to you.
Yeah, yeah.
This is why it's maybe maybe a must that a director is an actor as well, or a choreographer is a dancer as well.
Mhm.
This is something polemic that we can discuss about it and open a Pandora's box. But somehow I believe in that. So I am not an actor, but I was an actor. So and I will never forget the feeling of being an actor and all the experiences I had as an actor. And I think this is helping me a lot. But anyway, you develop an eye, or you develop a sensibility to understand or to see if the performers you are working with are on the line or not. So this is your responsibility. So let's say,
like you said, we need to be fast, adaptive, flexible, all the time from the beginning, and this is something like when you sharing this with the performers or dancers, it's about me as a choreographer needs to know that I need to embody that cognition in them during the movement. So and it's very interesting because I can have my own interpretation on the tram, but they can have also their interpretation on the tram. But maybe we can meet somewhere in the middle, and maybe we can. I'm always like open-minded and flexible, and not just my ego and I'm the best. Maybe I can have their interpretation in my dramaturgy as well. Maybe they can help me with that. Is this okay? Or maybe not?
Yes, depending on how far you went before them.
Uh-huh.
So this is why I said that we can say two different scenarios. So one is, hey guys, I found this Kafka text and I think it would be interesting to work with it, and then let's try, let's see, let's brainstorm, let's share impressions, meaning that then the three of you are going to build the dramaturgy of the piece together from the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
This is one scenario.
Mm-hmm.
The other scenario is that you already built the dramaturgy, and then the task is communicated to your performers. If you do it properly, they will not have completely different ideas about the text or about the meaning of the text or or whatever. You understand what I mean? Because after 1 week or two, I mean, this is approximate. Yeah? So don't get in the 2 weeks because it can be 10 days, it can be 4, it can be 20, I don't know. So then, but then after that moment, you will see that they are already included in the less intrusive and traumatical way as possible into your dramaturgy. And you will avoid. I don't agree with you with the idea you have with the main. For me, this text means something completely different. But you will avoid these things. That if you are building together from the beginning, you will have to pass through this. I mean, if Dora wants to build the piece with her dancer, her performer from the beginning, it can happen that so both of them will read the text, right? Then they will meet, and then Dora will say, "For me, the text means this," and the performer can say, "Oh, I agree. Yeah, I mean, for me as well." Or the performer can say, "No, come on. What are you saying? For me, it's just the opposite." Okay. Then we have a discussion. Discussion is not negative. I mean, it is but then a discussion means that a compromise must be done. Then who is going to take the final decision? For example, this is very important because in any situation, in any situation that you can imagine, one performer working on the stage in a rehearsal through an improvisation with the other partners of the team is not sure, doesn't agree, has something inside that even discipline, even techniques, even the hierarchy established, even that they have good intentions, it's very difficult. Don't say impossible. I think many times it's impossible that they achieve the point. This is something that I learned suffering. I learned this lesson in a painful way.
Yeah.
Yes, because in text-based theater, the director is God, no? I mean, or is the boss? Well, God, no. I mean, the boss. And the boss means that when I say something, you do it. And you do it well. So it's not only about that you do it well. And the actor or the actress says, yeah, I mean, I can do that because I am a professional. And even if I don't agree what you are saying, I can do it. But something is not working.
This but.
Something is not working. Many times it's a fight that it can become very emotional. And in the end, the one who is going to stay there is the performer, not you.
Yeah.
You will come the opening night And then you will see them making a strong effort to do what you wanted. And you will not come back, or maybe you will come back in 2 weeks. And you will see in 2 weeks they made theirs the peace. More or less, more intensively, more clearly, but they made the peace there. So then why don't do that from the rehearsals already? I mean, why to fight against the wall, to suffer, and to have the same result? So not everybody accepts this, and it's hard to accept it because many people think that I am directing this piece because I want my world put it, but the performing arts are a team. It's a team. So if you want to have the total control on your creation, then maybe you can be a painter, or maybe you can be a writer, a novelist, or something like this. But if you want to have the 100% of control in performing arts, forget it. Forget that. This is very crazy. It's impossible. No? So, the choreographer or the director must always be thinking strategies, exercises, improvisations, whatever, to sell, to communicate, to make the performers involved in the dramaturgy, as we said in the beginning, in the first session. That is our task, to make them involved, because then is when they will the things they will do are they going to help your idea about the dramaturgy, and they will feel completely comfortable with that. They will feel that they are really helping building the dramaturgy with you. Do you understand what I mean, Sandra?
Yeah. Yes.
What do you think? Do you want to say any other thing about this?
What I'm saying about this, what you said now?
Yes. Dora said.
Well, it's a good strategy. I mean, dramaturg and or choreographer, they need to be really smart and a very flexible person. They need to know how to. They need to be like smarter than politicians. You know, they need to know how to communicate with the people. I mean, but not lie to them. I mean, not that part
as
of.
Smart as a politician, but more on, let's say.
But I mean. Yeah, I mean, I like this way of thinking, and this can help me with some other things too, not just, I mean, this can also help in simple management, you know, in different part of lives.
in English, the one who is leading the orchestra, it's called conductor, right?
Conductor.
Mm-hmm. In Spanish, we call it director.
Director, yes.
Isn't it much better, conductor?
Yeah, it is. Yes.
Because he's not directing anything. Everybody is doing their job. So then it depends on the personality of the choreographer or the director in theater. Then it makes life much more easy and enjoyable and happy. Because it's happy it's to build something, no? I mean, it's something that you do it because you like to do it. how you feel when you are doing that. So this is not a suffering, no? I mean, nobody is here for suffering.
Well, if we look from Buddhistic point of view, suffering is good. They lead us to suffering, lead us to enlightenment, better achievements. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
That was my first, thinking about it.
A positive. I mean, we suffer when we are creating.
Yeah,
we suffer in a way, but it's a way. It's an enjoyable way, let's say. No?
Yeah, of course. Yes.
Suffering because we don't have we must fight for the results, and we so don't have it from the beginning. But
yeah, and suffering in artistic way is it's really sometimes sad, and it's really exhausting, and you're doing, I mean, every day the same thing, like people who are working in, let's say, bureaucratic world, but it's not the same suffering,
There is some bureaucratic people that they love their work, huh?
Oh yeah, they love their work, and they are always in love their work, and they always have a lot of work, but they are done working it, actually. They're working all the time the same things. And when I was working sometimes in that kind of world, I was always like, very adaptive and fast, and I wanted to, be quick with my work so I can be more creative. No, Sandra, you need to say, no, I don't have time. We are doing one job like for whole 8 hours, and for me, it's impossible to not to do the job. If I finish the job, I'm going to another one. But no. In this part of the world, is always take it easy and don't exaggerate about the things, So
yes,
another world.
We already mentioned, I think, that this way of working and this way of understanding dramaturgy needs time, and time is money. So yeah, I think one could imagine one choreographer that makes solo in less than 1 week, based on Kafka's text, and that's it. With a contemporary dancer or something, we can imagine that, right? But the way of working would be different, very very different. So here there is one person giving orders and the other person obeying. So this is the fastest way to put something on the stage. And sometimes it's like that. I mean, there is no other option. So when I realized that in Hungary it was like 6 weeks to put a text on the stage, but a text with 2 characters or a text with 30. So, I mean, how can you do that? They do it. But this is like in a factory, no? So it's not like. Okay, so now, Dora, do you want to say something about this, or?
I understand everything. It was really nice to listen what you were saying, and I understand the ways of everything's clear. It's a lot, but it's clear.
Yeah, it's intense. Okay, so now, tell me these words that you've chosen for the being observed thing. Could you, or do you need more time, maybe? No. Okay.
No, I wrote some words from the text.
Okay, so
I wrote direction, standing quietly, gazing, windows, position, near, distinct, still, the whole, shadow, point, amazed, and remark.
For example, two that blow up my mind. window and near, for example. Here you have visual and space. Well, near all you know, all the adjectives, mainly all of them is a binomial, right? So if we were with near, we can work with far. With a binomial, near, far. And a window is an object that, I mean, is very powerful for this being observing and being observed, right? Because you can look through the window, or you can be observed, somebody who's out there looking at you through the window. So this is a very, very powerful thing, because when you were choosing tram, because your plans to destroy the meaning of the word or the sound, play with the sound or whatever, which is going to be useful, but maybe you can do this with words that by default, let's say, help more to the dramaturgy. So we can destroy the word window. But we have already a lot of subtext related with the fact of observing and being observed. Do you understand what I mean? So when you choose, even if you are planning to be abstract, you can play a little bit, okay, abstract, but not, I mean, remember always, 100% abstract piece means, in terms of dramaturgy, it's a paradox, because means that no dramaturgy is needed, maybe. I don't know if you understand what I mean. This is something that it's a paradox. It's a kind of philosophical way, so forget it. I mean, you from the practical point of view, you always need a dramaturgy, but it's like a painter who wants that the observer recognize what is in the painting will work with the forms and the colors and the light and the composition in a way that everything's clear to the observer, and the observer can recognize it. And a painter who does not want that will as well work with forms, colors, and everything, but in a way nobody recognizes that. It's a paradox.
Yeah.
It's a paradox because, you know, the traditional dramaturgy conception is that that we need dramaturgy to make people understand, not to make people do not understand. So when we want people do not understand something, we don't stop there. Any artist, I mean, only, well, like if it's a provocation, yes. If it's a provocation, Marina Abramovic in the beginning, she was doing things like that, and many other people. But when you create a dramaturgy for people do not understand, you are doing it in a way that you are giving them the chance to understand what they want to understand. So it's a constructive thing. It's not a destructive thing. Tourner, for example, for many people, it's a stain on the wall. So his paintings are stains, and in this stain, one can see. For me, it's the sea when there is a storm. Another, we would say, for me, it's a storm of sand in the middle of the desert. But every, and maybe nothing to do with the original idea of the painter, but everybody can have an interpretation, right? Because if not, they would become like, I mean, I wouldn't say it's an artistic piece, or everybody will be angry about that. When the observer feels that the stain on the wall it's nothing else, they become angry. So that's when we see a piece, a theater piece or a dance piece, that we realize that there is nothing else but then movement, beautiful movements or whatever, then we feel angry somehow, or angry or disappointed or whatever. And it doesn't mean that it must be realistic or you know, a narrative. Do you understand what I mean? This is really complex as well. But meaning, I mean, I would say that if you do the work properly, even a very abstract piece arrives to the audience somehow. Arrive, not in detail, not with all blah 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 the intentions, but arrive somehow, because you will create a mood, you will create a feeling, you will work this physical question of observing and being observed. And then I think it's clear that even the audience has no idea about the Kafka text. They will see your performance, then somebody will tell them that it's about this on the tram, Kafka's text. Maybe some of them would feel curious and go to the text and read it. Yeah. And there's going to be a kind of connection, no? So it's not like nothing to do. This is nothing to do with Kafka. Okay. So, and your words, Sandra?
My words are like, I stand, footing, defense, holding on, letting myself, gazing, walk quietly, stopping, ready, just a few words.
All of them are very connected with movement, right?
With what?
Movement.
Movement, yeah. Yeah, I was going to ask, since I'm like a choreographer, so I can always I can always have different starting point from, let's say, Dora or Alex or you. I think that we can always start from the same text, but different words, like, let's say, because yes, you're right. I choosing movement words. Yeah, that was.
But I mean, I say again that there is no rules here.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing is that the way. This is very important. Huh? So, mm-hmm. and it's pure dramaturgy. So the way you work with your team, you will get a result or another.
Mm-hmm.
All the ways of working are okay. I mean, absolutely. But you learn somehow as a dramaturg that depending on how you will work, you will get A, B, C, D, E. So, in different words, if you already know what you want, you work in a way that, for your understanding, is going to help to achieve what you want.
Mm-hmm.
If you do not know what you want, then, for example, starting with a movement is a very good idea. So all the words that you took out from the text connected with movement, each one of them, it's an improvisation. It's a game. It's a game, and then you can get a lot of feedback from the dancer,
Mm-hmm.
and then even different tonality of movement, different quality of movement, and then maybe you can say it is yes, this no. If you have a kind of destiny, north, then you can realize from these improvisations based on the movement that this movement is going to be, this kind of movement, this quality of movement is going to be more useful for you to go towards there. Yeah, this is as well a way of working, but this is as well double time, huh? Double time, an extremely good relationship with the performers, for example,
Mm-hmm.
that you know them, that they know you, that they are open-minded to work that way.
Yeah.
This in the cast, for example, in the decision is very important, because I found in text-based theater, I found actors who hate freedom.
Who hate?
Freedom.
Huh.
So
Yeah.
they were very angry.
Depends of the background. If they.
So they said, "Tell me what to do."
Oh yeah. I had that. I had those kind of. Performers, dancers, and it's a very hard to work sometimes with that kind who can do everything, but they still cannot think for themselves. or just they just want a direction, like tell me and I will do it. And that could be nice.
There is a director for them and there is a choreographer for them. So it's just that you everybody finds who the type, the type they. But this is it. So you get my point, Sandra. So it's as far as I see, your approach is more open from the beginning with the performer. So you are like sharing with them more. So coming to them with less fixed dramaturgical structure.
I'm always like that in all my work. I'm open and flexible, and even if I'm working with totally beginners, I like to hear them what they think and what they want to do, and then we can start talking and sharing some things and negotiating and.
And I love the negotiating this word.
I using a lot, so yeah, I didn't realize that.
Then Sandra, do you? So, is there a moment closer to the end, let's say, of the process, that you are more and more taking decisions and fixing things?
That I'm more taking positions and fixing things.
Taking decisions, making decisions.
Decisions. Oh, sorry. Yes.
Fixing. I mean, closer and closer to the end.
Yeah, I'm closer to the end. Yes.
But do you understand what I mean? In a process, so you start sharing your ideas, listening to people. Each one of them can add things, propose things, whatever. But then, isn't there a moment that you need to make that real, to make that something that you know has an end? Do you understand the question? Because this is always when we work like this is always the dilemma, no? So that you have, you can give them 100% freedom in the beginning, but somehow the show, the performance, somehow must be fixed. And then this means that this freedom that they have in the beginning is less and less freedom, no? It's a question.
I mean,
it's a question.
With my closure, with my decisions, I mean, all phenomenology now passed away, and we need to decide what to do. I need to decide what to do and how we will do it. It's good to have all cards on the table, but now I will choose. I mean, my is the last, so my decision is the last. So I will say, this is how we will going. We will not just. It's okay to have in one phase, you know, communication and sharing thoughts and everything, but afterwards, you just need to be very strict and direct and said, okay, I choose this, and now we will go this way. I mean, you need to be, I mean, if you're a leader, conductor, kind of mentor, you need to be open for everything, but then you just need to be open also for a decision.
Yes, it's a very difficult moment. Especially if you were very open and sharing in the beginning.
But I don't have problems with that. I just cut everything, you know. It's not like I'm afterwards like a person who don't listen. Just I said, okay, now it's time to.
But there is no traumatic for the performer.
Well, no, because I probably choose something very valuable from them during the performance rehearsal. So, I mean, we need to be clear who is conducting here, and then I always. Even when I'm doing simple workshops, we know how we will end. I will end the whole thing, and then we can talk again about the whole. The whole workshop. But it's okay to be open. But it's okay to know what you want, like you said. I mean, we know. Yeah. To understand what we want in the end, and this is the first and the last thing.
Yes, I totally agree, and make it somehow the smoothest way, slowly. So in fixing, you know, so that there is no you say these 2 weeks you will have a lot of freedom. I will listen to you, but in the next 2 weeks I am the boss.
No. We are floating, you know, like the sea, like the waves on the sea. I mean, this needs to be very organic, I mean, and natural. Otherwise, we will be in conflict. I'm sure that I will get some mad or angry.
Absolutely. So next thing we can do to help them is to create a structure. So a structure, what is a structure here is just a collection of moments, I would call it moments, that from in our dramaturgy are somehow important. So it is not it shouldn't be a very closed, organized, and fixed structure. It's only a list of moments that we feel that they are important. And then the order is not now in this moment, is not now the point. So you can write a list of these moments at random, let's say. The order will come later. But we need this in order to help the performers to start understanding as well what is the frame. So now I will give you 10 minutes in order to prepare a draft of this list of moments from this text. Is it clear what I'm asking?
Like a draft of this solo or duet, or
Hey, to say to the performer, look, we are going to work these moments 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 separately. Is it clear? Okay, so you have 10 minutes.
Okay.
Hello. Okay, so are you ready more or less? Yeah, okay. Good. So for example, Dora.
I'm not sure how was I supposed to write it, but I just made the bullet points of what would I work with. Is that, yeah. So I wrote posture, changing of the space, observing something passing by, deconstructing words, sound of the words.
Okay. Okay. And Sandra?
Well, I did a little bit different. I visualized the space. Actually, I put all of this, what we were talking about, into some actions, like some, settings, like we are talking about my duo and her solo, right? So,
Yeah.
So my performers, let's say I put them in the corners, very well, not far away, but they can feel each other, but they are in their own personal space, individual space, and they are connecting firstly to that part. And then they are observing that space, and they are trying to make eye contact, but still not. Then they are shifting from that corner from one side to another. And then they are making eye contact and they want to say something, but they are mute. They just starting to talking about with the body, with the upper part of the body, with the face grimaces and shoulders. And then they starting to make some shifting and simple, but really simple walk. From they want to meet each other, but still not. And some kind of they are bubbling something. They are making some sound, but nothing clear. And then they're starting to approach to each other and starting to, let's say, move a bit. And when they come to each other, then when they approach to each other, then they start observing each other. And the main point for this part, for me, was from the text, the last sentence, when they really want to observe and make an eye, on some parts of the body. And that was like her small ear is close set, but since I'm near her, I can see the whole reach of the whole of her right ear and the shadow at the root of it. And I want to make that personal, very private and intimate relationship without still touching, just, observing that part of I and make it very personal and maybe, like you said, maybe for pornography wouldn't be the right text, but who knows if we can, extract some parts and really enjoy like observer or a voyeur of experimenting something with the parts of the body. And I stopped here without touch, and then we can start with the touch, but this is all without touch, a little bit of sound and a lot of intimacy inside of them, but still eye contact is very, since we are talking about being observed and observing. So I like that part, and we can continue. Yeah, because this last sentence was so strong to me, and I didn't know where to put her in this discussion, and it was so strong because this is the real concentration and focus, and this is talking this is where this person talking about observation of a female ear, simple ear.
Uh-huh. Would you agree that this text, it's about a woman being observed by a man?
Yes, and he observed her in detail, and we can see that when she approached to him. He saw colors, he saw maybe smell, he saw that she is very uninterested while she is observed, and I can feel that this is like impression with a woman. He was very, when she approached to him, he was very interested, but she wasn't, and this is not even important. I wanted to do also in my duo that the person, that they are very private, but the person is not interested, but he is approaching, he is observing, he is entering into her, let's say, mind or some body parts. So this is about a woman, this is about observing, this is about going into the details and going into really, I would say, somatic things, like you're going into someone's ear and some parts of the ear and this world, and well, that's it.
That's nice. Now, in connection with the movement, let's say, here you have some. So to work with the performers, it would be a good idea to try to isolate or segment or divide what you said in maybe 3-4 different moments, because one important thing is that it's really useful to dosify the information, especially in the beginning, to dosify the information we give to the performers. Because if we give them a lot of things, or a big part of it, let's say, it could be somehow so big, so wide, that they get confused or lost or whatever.
Yes, so, of course. I was thinking like to do this in maybe few different workshops, or exercises or whatever we call, because even these 2-3 things, just observing the corner and the space and eye approaching is a lot. you need to make this this focus, this atmosphere, like it's very heavy and it's very intimate, and they are not just standing like, you know, two figures. They are very connected, but they still don't know. And yeah, I agree. We need to dosify the information. I wanted to say that too, but yeah.
Segments. So to divide into segments.
Divided, yeah.
This is what we call, I mean, a structure or basic structure.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I say, moments, because, you know, the word structure is it's polemic, because many people think that a structure must be something already closed, but there is the open structure. So the structure, I think, must be open somehow. But it's a guide for everybody to say, start working not on everything at the same time. Let's say. For example, Dora, can you tell me the first?
My first was posture.
Posture. So, for example, and then how could you bring that to your dramaturgical idea?
Well, that is coming from this, from the text, from the how I see a woman, and then I would see what are the possibilities of representing this woman, or maybe even at some point, if I connect the posture with the idea of observing, then there is in this text also this man that is observing, and what would be his posture. So that I would explore different ways through movement of the posture, or possible postures that are inspired by the text, or how can I interpret it?
Would you agree that a posture is the beginning of a movement, or the end of a movement, or a movement frozen? Would you agree this?
Yes.
Because a posture somehow is something static.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Right? But it is, I mean, the three chances that come to my mind is that when you have a static image of the body, is because something's going to start. So this is the first picture of a movement, or it was the end of the movement, or it was something in between, but frozen somehow for a reason. Right? Then you, from here, you will ask and you will try to get from the performer the different feelings she has exploring these different postures, and try to find this hypothetical movement that starts with that posture, finishes with that posture, or is a part of it in a mirror. So this is going to help you a lot in giving somehow prints or traces to what kind of movement would be useful for you to create a piece for you, and then for the performer, of course. So both you will find somehow. It's a good practice. Then the end of it is even to find some sentences, some movement sentences. No? Then the next thing you said was
I said changing of the space, which can now, if we are talking in this direction, that through posture you can find movements, and then where in the space, if it's the beginning of the or the end of the movement or a static position, where what would be place in the space of where is it happening.
Do you already have an idea about where the space you are going to use for the piece?
No, I was thinking, I was trying to think about it, but I don't have a final answer of that for that. Like where would I put a solo, or I'm not sure even where to put the audience. What is the point of view? I'm not sure. It's it's still far.
Not that far, because if you take the posture work, a posture is a 3-dimension image, right? So then maybe you can think about what's the best angle from the audience point of view to see the different postures. And for example, if it's going to be the performer who is giving these different angles of the same posture, for example, or you want the audience become active in this, and then the answer of this question is, the first is a classical black box with the audience in front, because then the performer is going to change the angle and give the angles that you are interested in to the, or maybe the circle, or even a chance that the audience can move, because then is when they decide which angle they want to see or to check in each different moment. I think maybe this one might be interesting, but you see, like for example, when you make these decisions, are already coming from the physical work that you are doing with the performer. It is not just like you say, I will do it like this, or I imagine like. Anyway, for example, if you are working with a scenographer or somebody who's helping you in organizing the space, the scenographer here means how to organize the space. I'm not talking about the one who's painting, decorative things. The word window is very powerful, because then the window has two sides, which is the inside and the outside, but this is kind of relative, because I would say that more than the inside and the outside, I would say the other side. So one is in this side of the window, and the other is on the other side of the window. And this is some very inspirational thing for organizing the space and how you want the relationship between the audience. I mean, and Sandra, for Sandra, it's a good material as well, because if we are talking about observing and being observed, this happens on the stage, but somehow it happens in the whole venue, because there's like two different levels of observing. There is audience observing people that they are observing themselves, for example. And then you can play with these two different levels, and the answer of this is how to organize the space. here the time that, for example, in the posture thing of Dora, the time is important as well because if we accept that one posture is the beginning of a movement or the end of it, for example, we need to decide how long we are going to show this posture, for example. Is it going to be 5 seconds and then start the movement, or is it very, very slight, or we are going to make it like, 5 minutes, which is a lot for a posture in a solo, let's say. And then, and then we give the chance, for example, in this, that the audience get as much as details as possible about this posture. It's logical, no? I mean, do you understand what I mean? So the most time you show the posture, the deeper they can check. Yeah, exactly. So then the third moment of your list.
Observing something passing by. I was thinking here about the gaze more and how to use the gaze, that something is like you are looking at something that is happening by, and what would be the gaze of the performer.
And what is the performer looking at?
I'm not sure. Maybe, and also I was thinking about, I was thinking about this window and looking through and looking back. So maybe to play with this also.
You could, for example, jump into the improv in a relatively passive way, meaning, for example, that you could be the alter ego of one of those members of the audience that can move, and then you move around the space, and she is exploring, looking at a person who is moving around her, for example. Then you can take information from this, and in this case, if you are playing or building a game, let's say, for the audience, with the audience, for the audience, this is a seed for an improvisation, not from zero, but not without knowing what will really happen. Because when you work with the audience, it's very important that you are open to the fact that everything can happen. This is, for example, again, Marina Abramovic. Talking about Marina Abramovic because everybody knows her, but many people is exploring this performance involving the audience in a semi-active or semi-passive way, but then you can try and you can collect and you can have a forecast about many different kind of reactions and be ready for each one of them, but always open for a surprise. I worked in a play long time ago that there was a character on the stage sitting down in a row that it was taken from the audience, from the theater, the classical 1, 2, 3 chairs from the theater, but we put it on the stage. And he was there, and then the performance was going on, and he was there. So he had 3 seats, And of course, two were empty because he was occupying only one of them. In Hungary, nothing happened. So in Hungary was like Hungarian audience is very polite. It's too much. But then we went to Spain. And Spanish people is not like Hungarian people. So sometimes then in one of the performance, because he was there already when the audience was coming into the venue. And in one performance, a couple that were laughing and I feel a little bit drunk maybe, or a little bit happy. They go into the stage and they sit down in the 2 free seats. And they did not move. So we had to start the performance and they were there the whole performance. And they were speaking and they were laughing and they were saying things to the actor. What do you do in this case? I mean, somebody should go there and tell them, please, you cannot sit down here. Go to the. Yeah, I mean, yes and no, because you create this provocation. That is a challenge, and if somebody accepts the challenge, you must count on that, and you must work with that. It was a very crazy performance, but it was a very interesting one. And nothing happened before and nothing happened after that anymore. But it was a provocation. It is an invitation, no? Two free seats there, and seats that they are the same as the seats that the audience is using in the theater. So no one, the people who is working in cabaret, for example, knows very well, because every day they provoke and they go to where the audience is sitting down having a drink, whatever. So then they must be open and ready for everything that can happen. Positive, negative, surrealistic, whatever. So I am saying this because I find interesting that you're a performer, for example. If you want to go deep, the third point of your list, you play with this, for example. You play. It could be very interesting, no? That you get some feedback from the real person. I mean, a real person. So a person from the real audience, and you include them in this game of observing and being observed, for example. What was the fourth?
The fourth was deconstructing words.
Ah, exactly. So then how would you use this? The words that you already choose?
Yes, probably I would go with that words, but more with like creating the sound. To use it for the deconstructing words as if like what is the sound of the words, and to play with that.
But what would be the purpose of this?
I was thinking maybe at some point for like using the voice and this sound to push the movement in some other direction, like a contrary from a very polite and this posture at the beginning, let's say, to how are the like expressing the words or the sounds, how is that affecting the body or the movement?
Would you use some music for the piece?
I'm not sure. I more like the idea of performer or of sounds that are made at that point, at that moment of during the performance, then having outside sound.
If the frame is silent, the sounds from the performer are going to be very powerful. And I mean, it depends on the length of the solo, but you wouldn't need music maybe. So play with silence, and you know that silence doesn't exist, right? I mean, that this is something as well that we could talk about it. But yeah, I mean, no music and the sounds that the performer is producing with those words that you are using, destroying, deconstructing them somehow. Here, the important thing is the effect that this produces in the performer and the effect that this produces in the viewer, in the audience. And if this effect is useful for your dramaturgy. And you check as well if, even if it's very short or slight or whatever, some meaning from these words remains. Because, for example, when we say that destroying the meaning of a word, repeating that word, but the first time you're saying the word is the word. So, meaning, as you say, window, maybe after saying it 100 times, it doesn't mean anymore, but in the beginning means window. So when you say window on the stage, everybody will have an image of their own image of a window. Okay, and then what's the fifth one?
No, that's it, because the deconstructing words was connected with the sound of the words. So
then this is a chance to create a structure, a basic structure for the perform that helps the performer and helps the piece. Always, I said it the first day, but I will continue. I mean, this is something that you cannot forget. Always, every decision, every little, let's say, experiment you are doing, always checking if it helps to the dramaturgy idea or not. If it helps, and how it helps. Because then is the moment that maybe you can change something about the original idea. You say, oh, you discover how useful is this game, that the audience is moving around the performer, and the performer is looking at them moving. Maybe here you put some light into something that in the beginning you didn't think about it, and then you come back to the original proposal and you retouch it a bit, putting this. Is it clear what I'm saying?
Yes.
In the case of Sandra, can you divide this in your 2 or 3 moments?
Like being in that space, in
the corner, the corner,
making eye contact.
Uh-huh.
So includes also making some sounds. I was thinking maybe I can extract some sounds of this sentence.
What is the sentence? Can you say the sentence?
Yeah, I can say it's I stand on the end platform of the tram. And yeah, that is
here you have a lot of possibilities.
Yeah.
Because you can I stand, and then something happens. I stand at the end, and then something happens. I stand at the end of the platform, and then something happens. I stand at the end on the platform of the tram. So meaning that each segment is adding and adding, building, or you can deconstruct and destroy like Dora was saying, meaning that you are against meaning the be careful with this. You are against the meaning, the main meaning that the sentence is expressing. You cannot. So there is always will be a meaning in everything what you are doing. So you cannot destroy the meaning of anything. I mean, you cannot do a meaningless thing. So everything you are doing is creating a meaning. So when Dora is destroying the meaning of the word window, she's doing something. She's, for example, making the audience very nervous. For example. In your case, Anna, you have performers, and then there are 1 million games and things that you can do between them, so that they will feed each other. That's something that will not happen with a solo, with only one performer in the case of Dora.
Yeah, I was thinking also to have this performance in very personal, private space like gallery, with some vistas and body segments, let's say like small monuments, or and it would be great to have this conversation also with audience. They will be like participative and in silence, but who knows? It can happen like with your piece. They can start just talking, but yeah, depends on, maybe they will not, they will be polite like in Hungary. I like that. No, it's okay. No, it's okay. I like
normally
possibilities.
it's not,
I'm kidding.
Take this polite thing with humor. So I didn't mean being really polite. So, but it's more than being polite. It's about a habit. So, for example, a city like Barcelona, in the center town, that there is a habit of seeing performance in the street for years and years and decades. So it's normal thing. It's something that for people, even for visitors, so it's a kind of common things like the birds or the trees. You find an actor there doing something on the street, an actor, circus, puppeteer, whatever, no? But this doesn't exist in Budapest. In Budapest, there is nothing, no tradition at all. So nobody is doing this. So if in Budapest, one day, one actor or one dancer or even one musician is doing something in the street, it's like, wow, it's almost in the newspaper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you said like our work is connected to our cultural environment. I mean, prejudice and everything is connected with our biohistory. So where we are living, how we are breathing, And Hungary is totally different from.
But
even
the fact,
almost from Zagreb.
the fact of the main relationship between an audience and a performing in a space, because Peter Brook defined it very simple, very well when he was talking about the empty space, right? So a performing art act means one people doing something in a space and other people looking at him doing this. So this is the roots of everything, no? But then this is why there is no pure non-conventional space. Because in any the most crazy non-conventional space you can imagine, this relationship, so this will end it like this. So in the end, we will have people in front of people, even if they are surrounding, even if they are moving, is people doing and people observing. And this is cannot change, because this belongs to the. If not, then we are not talking about performing arts. We are talking about something different. So that's why when we say non-conventional, I mean, remember the Alex clock tower, but then this clock tower becomes somehow a little theater.
Yeah.
Or I don't know, people who do this in the street is as well. It's open air theater, but it's a little theater people can stop and can look at. And normally they don't do anything. But in the street, in Barcelona, they know that crazy people, there's a lot of crazy people, not only in Barcelona, but the crazy people in Barcelona can touch, can talk, can come into the acting space, can stole the coins. And then this is when, the audience becomes active into the show.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to say something about what we've done? Any question or anything to say?
No.
No?
I mean, nothing. It was very moved. I was really moved by today's.
Okay, I will ask you something for like a homework. Do things. I will send you. The next practice we are going to do is from music. So I will send you some different pieces of music. And just listen to them. So get used to them. And about the Kafka, to put an end to the Kafka thing, make your decision. So Dora, if you finally would use a silent frame, or you would try with some music. Then if you decide to try to some music, be ready for that in a kind of YouTube link or I don't know, or something that is easier to share. Or maybe if it's MP3, you can send it by mail maybe as well. So. And Sandra, the same. So if you decide to use some music, to try with some music in the Kafka Duo, or you finally decide not to.
Okay, yeah. I was thinking like not conventional music, like music from the tram station. I mean, what is happening on the tram station?
Then, if you can find it, because this practice, let's try to do it with real music. So if we are going to use music. And then let's survive the technical stuff. I mean, I can share the screen with you, and then you can listen, and vice versa. It's a little bit more complicated, but it's possible as well. Or you can send me your music, and then I can put it for everybody in the.
Okay, I will choose the music then.
You choose the music or the sounds or whatever, because we are going to talk about this sound space as well. So yeah, exactly. So
until Monday, I need to send you this music next Monday. Huh?
Before, or be ready for that. We can do it. During the session.
Okay, no problem. I mean, I can send you during. My God, I can send you through V-Transfer if you like. I mean,
as you wish.
Yeah. Okay.
You can send it whether before, or you can share it with us the same Monday.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I will. What I will send you, it's a Google Drive folder, and I will put there my pieces for music, the one we are going to do the practice next Monday. Okay. So, do you want to say anything? Nope.
Thank you.
Thank you to you. So, have a nice week and see you next Monday.
You too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
See you. Bye.
Bye. Bye, Dora.